Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by.
You have selected Microsoft. You have selected Microsoft David as the default voice.
I didn't have it connected. Okay, there it goes.
Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block cell. Block cell. Block cell. Block cell. Block cell. Block sell.
All right, we have about 5 minutes onto the top of the hour. That'll be the first 30 minutes of the initial bracket. And good morning, by the way. I have my mic on mute, just kind of going through a couple things myself. As of right now, we are seeing tech be a little weaker than the S&P 500. From what we're seeing, the leaders to the downside as of right now is currently industrials, followed by finance, and then consumer discretionary. For the actual indices, we have the S&P down 34 basis points opposed to the NQ, which is about 26, and RTY being down almost a whole percent at 86 basis points. We're kind of stuck here at the lows, but we're not really doing too much from what we can see. If you look down here, we have the FOMC high, that SOC zone, which is at the 56, and in the prior days, RTH low is 57.48. So the buyers have a fair amount of room to give up with the massive rally over the past week, and then the continuation from the FOMC through the all-time highs. So again, we did do our homework last night. So a lot of context was given there, but I mean, the buyers have full control as of right now. You can't imagine too much continuation to the downside from the sellers' perspective. It's taken them, I mean, as of right now, we are 11 points of range with another 3.5 minutes left. And we only have 11 points of range, about 60 points for the NASDAQ. Really not seeing much continuation to the downside here. So it doesn't appear to be the most volume that we've seen. Still fairly light from what we can see. And with this being the end of the month, the options expirations, the end of this September contract, we are using the December, of course. End of the September, we have the recent Fed cuts. We're still kind of flirting with the SOCs, but my thought is that if we were clearly getting away from this SOC zone, why is it that we're continually bouncing off this? We did it once yesterday, and we appear to be kind of drifting into it now.
Block sell.
You know, we may have a swift move away, who knows, and then use this as support and find more trading to the all-time highs with clear skies. But on a Friday with options expirations and everyone kind of being a bit confused and disoriented, you know, who knows? So we really want to be too speculative at the moment, but as of right now, really not too much action on either side with now 2 minutes to go. It's taken them, several times for them to grind lower, and then they're able to lift offers with these. Like even right now, we have 1,000 on the bid here, and look, even this. Okay, there's that release. Okay, and then even still, once it is broken, it's found some continuation. So you want to really see them, the sellers, if they're going to have control, really stay below this volume point of control. Let's just call this 56. So they can keep below the 56, then they may have something to talk about. Same situation with the 44s for the NQ. So we got about 12 more seconds here. We want to see if they're going to find a continuation up. Are people willing to put on risk as we head into the weekend? But again, the session is just starting, and you can see the sellers are really pressing, looking at the delta and the delta here. And the NQ, again, they are well above there. Not well above, but you know, they're about 80 points away from their SOC high. So it looks like they are indeed staying below those 5600s. For the sellers, there wasn't really much urgency to the upside as we started this session. So I mean, we have another 20 seconds here. We're gonna see that that continuation is still going. So I'm checking the quote board on my other screen. This is primarily tech, communications, and finance, causing this sell-off. A little bit of finance. I already said. All right, that's top of the hour. Yeah, just their ease to get above, to lift offers is pretty interesting. So we have a little bit of a balance zone that's above us. So we'll call that for that first bracket open auction, leaning to the downside. And again, we are indeed back into this FOMC zone. Say what you will about that. If we had to give this a score, originally it was like wishy-washy. When we started having more downside towards the half of that bracket, we started looking more at a negative 1.5 to 2. With these impulses and staying below these 5600s, we'll get at maybe like a -2, but we still haven't really moved too far away. Our low as of right now is 57.49, and then the high is 57.67. So really just 18 points of range. So these, it's really not the most elongated initial balance and first hour, but you know, what do you do? Gonna see if the buyers for the S&P 500 is gonna find their way out of this zone. We got another 5 seconds. They really want to thrust their way out of this FOMC. We still have 1 more minute. You can see that's a somewhat engulfing candle. No, that's an engulfing, almost engulfing candle on the 1 minute. I'll put this back on 3 minute. So I'm sure they got some buyers excited. We're gonna see if that's going to be engulfed in 1 candle or a couple, or if there's actual continuation to the upside. That may also give us a hint on our first real attempt. What happens? Is there any kind of follow through? So yeah, it looks like the buyers are putting up their fight. Okay, yeah, notice that rush of orders kind of coming in. Possible OTF if that continues. Other time frame, we may have some higher time frame players that are in, kind of pushing prices lower. They're not really caring about exactly this. They're not trying to execute at certain levels. They're really just kind of pushing and driving, but it may just be real subtle. It's a bit hard to tell, but the fact is still, we don't want to give this too much to the downside with the way that the sellers are allowing price to kind of move up with great ease. I mean, they're moving up 1 or 2 points. Yeah, 1 or 2 points, just like in seconds. We're probably going to see another release to the upside here.
Block that.
And we'll see if that's going to be sustained. Again, the sellers really want to defend this volume point of control zone, really on both sides, if we're going to have any sort of continuation to the downside. But as of right now, this is definitely a nice response from this same SOC zone from yesterday. And again, the NASDAQ has not reached theirs yet, as they have more real estate to travel till they retest that point. So we got another 45 seconds until the end of this 5-minute candle. We'll see where we're in. And again, do remember we have, I'm assuming, a lot of stuck sellers from the prior days. And as of right now, we are still within this bar from the prior day. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being a inside bar day. But again, we won't speculate too much as we need more information. I think we have some singles here, right? I mean, I think it has to be singles because the bracket isn't finished yet. No, yeah, it's singles from the other one. So we have a bit of singles with these, let's call it 59 to 56. I believe some people have like an auto plot with that. No singles for the NQ. So again, buyers are kind of slicing through. Seems what with ease. Again, we don't want to give this like a -3 or -4. There's no like real urgency or pain. I haven't said like, oh damn, look at that. I haven't really said that yet. So things are pretty tamed from what we can see. Volume is still fairly decent. Again, this is the last day of this particular contract. Sellers with decent positioning, if they can keep things lower. But again, it looks like they're having a tough time, especially the NASDAQ is starting to catch a bit of a bid. And then if these are engulfed and we see some continuation, then this definitely may be a bit of insight that OTF is involved, something with some higher pockets, maybe pushing price. But as of right now, this may indeed be day traders. No real urgency or continuation, just kind of playing the ranges, but a range hasn't been established yet. And we haven't seen a pullback to that midpoint or the open. And the open is slightly above the volume point of control, which is tied at VWAP as of right now at the 57.59 quarter. So it looks like we're kind of sticking to these 56s. Once they burst through, we have a small pivot. Yeah, at the 56.25. Which we can see here with this low volume node. We can slice through there. We may find our way with ease back up to the 59s. And then that's when we have some of this overhead possible supply. With just a lot of sellers down here up into these 59s. And then it's more buyers above the VWAP or volume point of control. And again, these are those same 56s that we were looking at. They were kind of struggling. Possible rejection here, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We still have 10 seconds left. They're still within the inside bar of the previous candle on the 3-minute, with 1 more minute left of this 3-minute bar. So we're starting to have a bit of a compression. I'd imagine we're going to break out either to the upside. If we break through the upside, we're going to slice through these, or price, we would expect price to slice through this low volume node, kind of head back to this VWAP and do some business here. And again, we have a lot of, not urgency, but some aggressive sellers here below the 57.60s and below the, let's call it the half mark for the NASDAQ at 20K50. 20 seconds left. So as of right now, again, we had the open auction leaning to the downside. So I'd imagine we're going to find more of a leg back to this midpoint. All right, that's the end of that 3-minute bar. Higher low for both sides. Still a compression.
Block sell.
Okay, so we have some big orders, and then some of these asks were not filled. and they're starting to fill in very slowly, but filling in indeed. So even with that big punch that they just received, they really just ate that and kind of pushing back up. So it's definitely a sign of strength for the buyers. I wouldn't be surprised if we burst through these 56 and make that test for the towards these VWAPs in this VPOC. Volume point of control and a volume weighted average price. VWAP and VPOC. We're still within this 1 minute bar, and this is going to be our 5 minute ending now.
Block sell.
All right, some more bigger orders. And again, we're not too surprised to see these bigger orders as we're near the end of this week. We're doing some rebalancing on the indices and the options expirations, as we already mentioned. So again, this isn't unsurprising. But now how price handles these bigger orders and then the reaction to it is something that, you know, we'll just have to gauge. Notice all the darker prints here. We have some reaching. It's probably going to be some, what do you call it? Probably like some weaker hands just kind of adding in, and they stopped as soon as we kind of pushed up, which again is a little bit of a sign for day traders. But again, we did make a new low, so say what you will about that. Though it was only from, you know, maybe about a point. I think it's actually a couple ticks, right? 3 ticks. And no new low for the NQ. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the, I was gonna say sector tractor. I'm gonna go, wait. All right, I'm doing a benchmark here on our quote board. We'll see where we are. This is at 711. So we'll see where we move from here. Again, big impulse, but again, what followed through what we have? We have our coiling range, impulse down. Let me do it this way. Coiling range, impulse down. Coiling range. What do we do? Impulse down or impulse up? Or do we do just more coiling? Kind of look below, test back above, look back below. You know, we don't know. That's on the NQ. Or are we going to find some urgency to the downside? Do remember that we are inside of this SOC candle already for the ES. The NQ never tested theirs yesterday, if I recall. Yeah, they never tested theirs. So we would imagine that we may have some sort of reaction once we find our way back in there. Excuse me, if we find our way back into there for the NQ. Still well below this 5 smoothing average on the ES. Rejecting it on the NQ. And looking at the S&P 500 again, we have our all-time highs up here. And then we have our former all-time highs. Of course, already pierced. But this zone that we were struggling with for the longest may provide some potential support. And that's going to be the 5730s, which is a zone that we clearly already have marked. Just a thought, if, again, this is a if,
Block buy.
as these buyers are in control for the majority of this. Price action on the higher time frame, the intermediate, daily. The overnight was a bit more balanced. And the RTH as of right now is showing slightly balancy, but definitely sell side heavy. But we want to ask ourselves, who is selling, who's buying, new money shorts, or is this new money longs? We're not too for sure. We would imagine that we're eventually going to get a IB low test. And again, my initial balance is first 30 minutes, which is going to be at that 51. And we want to see how they're going to respond at those 51s if the S&P does find its way back, which we are only a few points away. And the NASDAQ is currently at their IB low now after breaking through slightly, finding their way back in. And now we're just kind of hugging this area so far. Looking at the quote board, yeah, everyone's just kind of just sitting sideways as of right now. Leaders being industrial, a little bit of utilities. Again, that wasn't done too long ago. That was about 5 minutes. So really not too much has changed in 5 minutes. We'll see where we are in 14 minutes, which will be the first full hour of the session. Again, for the delta, consistent volume. Yeah, sellers just kind of swarming. We'll see if they're, I'm not really seeing too many situations where for like icebergs, where buyers are just really trying and you're seeing a increase in volume on one specific spot and them kind of being stuck. We're not seeing it at this 5750, or do we see it here? Yeah, like I said, buyers are just kind of being able to slice through by, with relative ease. And again, we are in the middle of this SOC range for the FOMC. And the top of this range is going to be the 56, which again is that same area that they were struggling with a little prior. 3 seconds to finish this candle. Some nice higher highs and higher lows. As of right now, we have reclaimed the 5 smoothing average on the 1 minute. Some momentum may be picking up a bit. So I'll still give this about a -1. We're not really forcing it, trying to keep it down. We have some big orders and you'll see like a little continuation there. All right, we got our first full close over that. Second full close on the 1 minute on that 5 smoothing average. So again, the momentum is picking up for the buyers for sure for the last, 3 or 4 or 5 candles. We'll see if that's going to continue. And again, the buyer's goal is for them to get past the 56, but they're going to have a bit of a difficulty if the technology sector is unable to, hold their own. So yeah, this is industrial, finance, and healthcare that's really leading right now. Since our last benchmark about 10 minutes ago. Yeah, they're starting to gear up. Velocity is picking up a little bit. And I'll be right back. I'm not drinking any water.
Block by. Block by. Block cell.
So really not too much to say here as we start the C bracket. Just looks like more of the open auction range. We are just flirting with this FOMC high. I'd imagine we're going to see the same kind of situation for NQ if when we hit this FOMC high, which is right at the, oh wow, yeah, the 19,900. ES just tested their IB low during this little pullback on this little small this relief rally. Is it a relief rally or is it an actual rally? Because NQ is getting ready to hit these lows once more. If they do. And again, they have about 70 points until their SOC high. And then regarding where they are from the prior day's range, just let me do it this way. Yesterday's low for the ES is at the 49s, call it, and then the 960s for the NQ. So NQ is flirting with theirs. We'll see how they react if they do breach their RTH low from yesterday. Which again was a solid protection of their overnight, which is fairly thin structure in general. And again, this is at the 64. So I'd imagine one big sweep. We may find our way there. What kind of continuation, we don't know. Again, there's that ease for them to just drift up like that. So we can't say the selling pressure is too heavy when we're seeing responses like that. And some continuation with it as well. $56, $57.
Block buy. Block buy.
So again, the open is at 60, which we haven't revisited since. We haven't been there since the A bracket. NQ did make that new low and immediately found some buyers. And again, they're very close to their prior day's RTH low. Still looking at a good -1. The fact they're allowing buyers to kind of move around like that, free roam.
Block sell.
Yeah, still flirting with that IB low. They're flirting above. NQ's flirting below. However, with the context that we have with FOMC, it's an important area to be at on both sides. So some important territory to win.
Block buy.
Have a good day.
Block buy.
All right, ES finally broke that little range. We're now at the 59s. Should see a little bit of an impulse. We're almost testing the open. Another 20-ish seconds to end this 5 minutes.
Block sell. Block by. Block by.
Yeah, I'm going on mute.
Block buy. Block sell. Block sell.
All right, notice you can see the discrepancy between the NQ and then the ES. Again, ES is still flirting with their FOMC high zone. So again, it's a very important zone. I'm sure it's going to be very aware to many people. Again, you can see where we're at. Also, the flirting a little bit above the prior day's RTH low. So again, very visible to many people. The NQ looked below their RTH low and immediately bounced back up, but still struggling nonetheless. There are singles below for the NQ. I would possibly do a breakout, but just the way that they're continually holding with the S&P 500 being somewhat resilient, it may be a hard pass. But I think a breakout wouldn't be a bad idea. So you'd be entering here, but where would your stop be? You know, there's no continuation as of right now. Still 30 seconds in this 1 minute candle. Maybe now you would go short, do short, even if you just have like a 10-point stop, you just put that shit. You know, let's say you got in at 68. You know, you have your stop at 78. I think you would still possibly get stomped out here because they're not sticking to these lows. Now they're starting to put some volume in and still nothing. So someone is supporting this, especially with S&P 500 still being fairly strong. Yeah. But all right, that was the end of that minute. Now they're finding their way back down a little lower. Again, there are singles below here. So this is an area that they definitely want to protect for the NQ, even though they are a little bit weaker. They can give up ground, but they need to really protect some of their key areas. There it goes. There it goes. Okay, so about 20 points. And we still got about 10 seconds left. And again, we are 50 points near their FOMC high, which I'd imagine we may find some buyers, given the way we've been moving. Need to fix this. Alright, they have completely taken their singles, so we'll clear that. Again, that breakout would have been decent, but you know, targeting what exactly? You know, you would think maybe targeting a FOMC high, which I think is not too out of the question, for maybe like a 10-point risk that ended up when that would have worked out if we would have got in on that second attempt. Not necessarily putting our stop with not necessarily entering with a sell stop, but more hitting the bid as we're kind of rising up and struggling after breaking that low. Essentially smelling blood and pushing lower, but that seems to be what's kind of going on. And possibly day traders just selling at those lows. No real continuation from what we can see here on the ES. I'm a little confused here on the NASDAQ. The leaders to the downside are Tesla and Nvidia, with Microsoft following them, and Amazon. So just consumer discretionary is just not doing the best right now. Utilities is definitely leading the pack, almost up 2%. Everyone else is red.
Block sell.
ES has their new lows. 4 minutes left.
Block buy.
Then we want to see this reaction. Again, same situation. So last time the buyers needed to get back above the 5760s, but now we're seeing this volume point of control at the 5754. So notice, that volume point of control has shifted lower, and they just have a little bit more of overhead supply to possibly work through on our way back up. So, if we're looking at this from the seller's perspective, who appears to have control over the RTH so far, then their job is to keep price below the 54s as of right now. Which again, they want to keep them from this FOMC
Block
high
buy.
zone. So we got another 3 minutes until this hour candle. If they can keep them around, surrounded near these lows, that may be a bit of a warning shot sent to buyers, and you may see a little bit of de-risking from the buyers and possibly a little more confidence for the sellers. But again, we haven't seen the most aggressive behavior so far. Not even on the NQ, who's a bit weaker, just more of a grinding, quick impulse, grinding, a little impulse here. Which is kind of what we were seeing to the upside as well. We're just kind of seeing it to the downside now, which again is a little similar behavior to the OTF and the way that they trade specifically. So again, we have about 2 minutes now. So again, the seller's job, if they are in control, if we do have some clues, they really just need to keep them below this IB low. There's no reason they should let them back into the 5200 for their first hour. For their first 30 minutes, rather. The IB low is at 46 for the full hour. Which is the yellow line. So really just another minute and 10 seconds and we'll see. Are we going to go back above to these 50s or are we going to stay near these 40s? That may give us a clue of what we're actually looking at here. But as of right now, there's a lot of two-way trading. "30 seconds. That lift and offers aren't happening right now. That's what I was talking about. We wasn't seeing those icebergs earlier. We saw them a little bit towards the 56s, if I recall. I forget the exact time. But now we're seeing those passive icebergs. Sellers step in. We're going to see if we're going to have a release at the end of this hour here. Release to the upside or downside. I wouldn't be surprised either way. But they are flirting with these lows. So if we look at this on a 65-minute candle, or just do an hour candle, this is the full session. Again, not the best look. Actually do it this way. Just do 30 minutes. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. It's just I don't have my settings right here. I'm looking at another screen, so just bear with me. Just fit this, leave this the same. Again, we're about 30 points away from that SOC high for the NQ. No true release yet.
Block buy.
Yeah, they're right at that 50 point from yesterday. The 50, that halfway point for yesterday's candle for the ES. Same situation for the NQ. Volume's decent. Sellers are definitely pushing on both sides. Good positioning as well. From the top rope. Yeah.
Block sell.
Still no real movement to the downside. Slow grind though. Which may not be something
Block
that you would
buy.
necessarily want to fade. But given the context of where we are, who knows? Again, we're about 20.
Block buy.
There we go. We got some orders coming in now. We'll see if that persists. Turn this down. We got real hollow there for a second. Yeah, we may see a crawl back up. Again, we are officially trading below the yesterday's low for both products. Five seconds. Didn't have to be the 5 minute candle. One thing we don't see is a move away from this price. Though we had some big orders kind of come in a while ago. That was fairly short lived. Again, the session isn't over yet. All right, I'm putting this back on mute.
Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block cell. Block cell.
All right, just here to mention. Notice it was the 300 on the
Block
bid
cell.
for the NQ. So that was the start of the FOMC zone.
Block cell. Block cell. Block cell. Block buy. Block cell.
Yeah, we're not really seeing buyers trying to step in here. So this is somewhat what we're anticipating for the FOMC. We may see some sort of a reaction here, again from the
Block
NQ,
cell.
but we'll believe it when we see it. They're really just eating up this overnight range from yesterday.
Block cell.
Alright, I'm gonna step away. I'm trying to let my winter run. It's just short from a little earlier. Just making sure I'm paper handed. I'll be back.
Block by. Block cell. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block cell. Block by. block by, block by, block cell, block by, block cell, block by, block cell, Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by.